Fine. Good morning. Sheikh, how will you fix that? Good morning, Hajj. Good morning.
Hello, Rajesh. How are you? Sorry to disturb in the night. Are you able to hear, Madhu?
Yes, sir. Good
Rajesh,
morning.
for Rajesh, it is around 1 o'clock midnight.
Yes, sir. 1 o'clock, 1:30.
Hello, Rajesh, are you able to hear? Rajesh,
Good morning, Dhanapa, sir. Good morning, Rashid, sir. Good morning, Pandey, sir.
we will start within 5 minutes.
Very good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Rashid, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, I think that Rajesh sir, he could not able to hear, I think, sir. He is
Rajesh,
not
sir,
responding.
Rajesh, sir, your audio is not coming. Rajesh, I will just send you a mail.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Hello, Dhanapal. Good to see you.
Fine. Now it's fine, Rajesh. It's okay. Now you are able to hear.
Yes.
Special sorry to you. We are disturbing on the midnight.
That's all right. That's
Good evening,
okay.
Rajesh, sir. Good evening, Rajesh, sir.
Hello, Madhu. How are you?
Yes,
Good
sir.
to
Fine,
see
sir.
you.
Fine, sir.
Good
Good
morning,
evening,
Madhukar,
sir.
sir.
Mm.
Sir, very good morning, sir. This is Dhanapal, sir, from Annamalai.
Nice to know you, sir.
Yes, sir. Rajshekhar, are you on the line?
Yes, sir.
You got to tell when you got to start. Exactly 10:35. You told no.
Yes, sir. We can start, sir.
If you give the signal, we will start it. We're waiting for you.
Dhanapal, I'm seeing you first time clean shaven. All the mustache and all is gone now.
Yeah. 2 weeks back, I went to Tirupati, Rajesh.
Oh, Tirupati. Okay. That's what I was like, yeah. Yeah.
It's difficult to recognize because after a long time I'm transferring to.
Okay. All right. Good.
We are missing you after long. You are not able to visit India, no?
I know. Hopefully soon. Hopefully
Yeah.
we will. I am totally vaccinated, so I'm safe. So
Welcome, Rajesh.
yeah.
Good morning, sir. Shall we
I'd
start,
like
sir?
to ask that 4 weeks is sufficient or 6 weeks we have to take for COVID?
6 weeks there. Now, if COVID still is better to take
I received a message from in my mobile from government
Yes,
that
sir.
4 weeks, 13th April is a date for you for vaccination, but that is only 4 weeks.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So I
sir.
have to wait for another 2 weeks.
Sir, exactly on 6th week, any day you can take, sir. No problem.
Okay.
Sir,
Monday, sir, just to lift your phone, sir. Your face is not visible. Slightly, you just. Now it's okay, sir. Still, if you better, you can.
sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Shall we start, sir?
Aishwarya, shall we start? No problem. No?
Yes.
Okay. 1 second. I will start. Okay. Very good morning to all the participants. Myself, Dr. Dhanapal from Annamalai University. On behalf of our staff, supporting staff and students, and the ISCOR student chapter of Department of Pharmacy, Annamalai University. First time we are jointly with the Srikrupa Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Hyderabad. Even though on this pandemic situation, we are conducting this webinar on healthcare financing for healthy India, strategies and approaches. I'm happy to welcome our Chief Patron, our Vice Chancellor, Professor V. Murugesan, who has been initiated this ISCOR chapter to our university 3.5 years back. And also I am happy to welcome our patron, Dr. R. Jnanadevan, Registrar of Annamalai University, and Honorable Professor A. Murugappan, Dean, Faculty of Engineering Technology, and our respected Head of the Department, Dr. V.P. Pandey sir. And also happy to welcome our Professor Vanka Mallareddy from Srikrupa Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and Sri M. Srinivas, Vice Chairman of Srikrupa Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and also K. Shashidhar Reddy, Secretary of the Srikrupa Institute. I'm happy to welcome our another convener, Dr. Sheikh Harun Rashid, who has initiated this joint venture with the two by our university and the Srikrupa Institute to conduct this webinar. I'm happy to welcome the co-convener, Dr. S. Madhusudan, Dr. C. Santosh Kumar, and coordinators, Dr. S. Parimala Krishnan, Dr. S. Y. Manjunath. And I'm very happy to invite the today's speakers, Dr. Rajesh Balakrishnan, Professor of Public Health Sciences, School of Medicine, University of Virginia, USA. This is not first, but he has supported a lot to our department. And this is the right man to give the right chance in this title. So that I request Rajesh Balakrishnan with a short notice, and he has accepted. So very happy, sir, welcoming you, sir. And also the another speaker, Dr. G.P. Mohanta, former professor and head Department of Pharmacy and former WHO National Technical Officer, who is the initiation of this ISCOR student chapter. At this juncture, I welcome all the former heads of the Department of Pharmacy who has been started this ISCOR chapter. So this is a purely this International Society of Pharmacoeconomic Outcome Research was conducted by the students only. It's a pure student chapter. So at this juncture, we have to appreciate our the executive committee member, Mr. N. Rajashekar, President, and Mr. P. Mohan Raj, Secretary, and Mr. Joseph Prince, President-elect, and Ms. V. Aishwarya, Treasurer, and all other ISPOR members of the Department of Pharmacy. So it's a purely conducted, or maybe the webinar was organized by these ISPOR students, people only. So at this juncture, with all the people while welcoming, I am appreciate all the students. And once again, I am happy to welcome all the dignitaries on this webinar, as well as the students, participants, and other supporting people and other college friends. And now I request our head of the department, Dr. V.P. Pandey sir, to say a few words about us. Please, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. It is a proud privilege of our Department of Pharmacy, Annamalai University, to have an international webinar on the topic healthcare financing for healthy India strategies and approaches. I am very happy that our former head of department, Dr. G.P. Mohanta, is one of the speakers and a great expert and very pertinent to the topic. Our Professor Rajesh Balakrishnan is the other speaker, and from the USA, from University of Virginia, it is a great opportunity for the our department to have such international webinar. I am very happy that we are having in this webinar in collaboration with our Srikrupa Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Siddipet, Hyderabad, and it is the effort of our ISPAR student chapter which will make it successful. Our students and our respected professors and teachers all are involved in this one to see that it should be successful. And I think our speakers are very pertinent to the topic, and everybody will enjoy it. And this international webinar is possible only because of the blessings of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Murugesan, Registrar, Professor R. Gyanadevan, and our respected Dean, Professor Murugappan. Then only it is possible. I thank them to all from the Department of Pharmacy to make this day a great event in the chapter of the Department of Pharmacy. Thank you very much, sir. Welcome to all of you. Please see. Next, Dhanpal will take this.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your blessings and initiation. And this is the right time, I think, that all the statutory bodies and everybody was now going for industry institute and institute also to be partnership. On this right time, Dr. Sheikh Harun Rashid has been approached and he has initiated for conducting this webinar. In future, we will collaborate in for other things also, in research and other publications. We will join together and work. So this is a very important event which we have been started. Now I request Dr. Sheikh Harun Rashid to welcome on behalf of Srikrupa Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. C.K. Dhanapal, sir. And a heartily welcome to all the participants, as well as the Chief Patron, Professor V. Murugesan, sir, Vice Chancellor, and all the patrons, convener, and co-conveners, coordinators, and the Executive Committee of ISPA chapter. A heartily welcome to the international webinar on healthcare financing for healthy India, strategies and approaches. So it is our great pleasure to get in collaboration with Annamalai University. And as the entire mankind is struggling and world is currently witnessing a dramatic disruption of everyday's life owing to the rapid progression of coronavirus disease pandemic. And this seminar has an important speakers here, Dr. G.P. Mohanta, sir, and one of the international speaker, Dr. Rajesh Balakrishnan, sir, is with us with a great topic. And we will assure you that this webinar will give a lot of information to the students. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I request our Professor V. Mallareddy sir to give a brief talk. And before going that, so the Professor Mallareddy sir, he served as a former dean, head as well as principal, University College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Kakata University, Warangal, and he also served as registrar, in charge vice chancellor, emeritus fellow of pharmacy AACT, chief scientific officer, general manager R&D Divis Labs, and director technical for CIMED Labs, presently working as a scientific and technical expert and also advisor for research centers and pharmaceutical industries. And we welcome our beloved chairman to say a few words. Over to Professor Mallareddy, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Right. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning,
I'm
sir.
Dr. Already, whom about Rashid was speaking a few words, very pleasant words. It is a very happy moment to be with you, of course, on webinar, since it's a COVID period, and the topic chosen is a very rather stronger one, because wherein we may just emphasize, but we can't dictate. That is because finance and the planning and strategies we can make for any improvement in our health care system in India, because India is one of the countries which faced all epidemics, endemics, and even pandemics now, what is going on. And that is now the infectious diseases are not confined to only the developing and underdeveloped countries. As you know, all even advanced countries are also facing this. This is one of the present situation wherein every citizen of the world who has to think over and for the measures and steps to be taken. Though we are able to do something, but it is in a hazard way. In this, for example, for COVID, vaccination and other things, what we are doing in a hurried way, we are seeking some remedy, and of course something is better than nothing, like that. And the this Bharat Biotech and others have come up with some vaccine. As you know, minimum period required to develop any medication for any disease or ailment is very longer, but within short period these things have taken place. So it will have its definitely some handicaps, some problems which may be just surfacing later. We may have now, but we will face later. That because they are not thoroughly studied, but to seek something immediately, it is psychologically also, it is making one to face this COVID infection. But all of us are taking that, whether it is how far it is actually safe in future, etc., without thinking about it, because they are all not well studied. Is emergency purpose they are being approved. And recently, as you know, even with Bharat Biotech, that is Brazil entered to purchase 20 million doses, but immediately it has sent its the Anvisa, that is regulatory authority of Brazil, has sent a team in March, and it has studied the biotech facilities and rejected that, saying that it is not practicing, it has not got the good manufacturing, followed the good manufacturing practices. And it has recorded everything for 5 days from March 1st to 5th. They have studied and shown that. It is not the mistake of biotech. It is because there was a urgent need and cry to just overcome these things. That's why these are the things when you go systematically as per our pharmacy regulations, etc., to approve any drug, that is becomes very difficult. Likewise, every drug which comes for emergency purpose. So there are several handicaps in every emergency drug, and that handicaps now the vaccine is also facing. But in spite of that, we feel that we are protected and we are taking. But what we see, as you have chosen right topic, what in that context I am telling, we should have planning, perfect planning and strategies. And for that, enough finances and the economy should support us. And these things, as and when the things can, as you know, any microorganism that is running ahead of us, and we are running after it. And so, by the time we want to, encounter it, it is modifying itself morphologically and physiologically and everything, genomically, etc. So that is always we say that every pharmacist should agree that it is a microorganism is the just one than any Nobel Prize winner. So that's why it is doing all that damage. It is able to do all the damage from time to time. So we have to have a strategy and plan for every kind of the ailments and diseases, infections that are possible, and multi-pronged. It is not one way to attack, but multi-pronged attack should be very useful one. So all the participants and the learned pharmacy scientists should go into those things and how best. And as you are correctly incorporated, that we should have sufficient financial support for it, for the healthcare system. But as you know, any country, very few countries are supporting well, but not all that. So at least as far as India is concerned, during this is a COVID period, we have got at least that much. But in general, what is the finances that is provided to the healthcare system, that has to be thought over, and because if health is good, everything would be good. We'll be able to work or do anything if we are healthy. So these things have to be taken care, and it is a good topic that you have chosen, but I don't know how far we will reach. At least there is nothing wrong in making strong recommendations. What we feel is legitimate, and I request all the participants to take part actively and suggest good measures to overcome such things and to fit ourselves very well to actually fight this onslaught diseases. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I wish all the participants a great time and wonderful participation, contributions. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you very much for your valuable information. Now, I would like to invite our beloved principal, Dr. S.Y. Manjunath, so for continuous support for us to conduct this international webinar. Sir, it's over to you. Please welcome to speak a few words.
Good morning to everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you on health financing for building India strategies and approach. I want to convey my gratitude to Untitled Chapter, Department of Pharmacy, Annamalai University. research, pharmaceutics, pharmaceutical analysis, pharmacology departments. The faculty of our institute is the strength of our college. Our 12 doctorates are working as professors and associate professors and 20 assistant professors. We are also organizing and implementing seminars, conferences, and workshops for the benefit of students and staff. Now, due to COVID-19 pandemic, we are forced to go for online seminars on Zoom or any other platforms. So this time, we feel proud and happy to conduct the webinar with Annamalai University. So I take this opportunity to thank Dr. C.K. Dhanapal sir, Professor, Department of Pharmacy, Dr. V.P. Pandey sir, Professor and Head, and all other faculty members of the Pharmacy Department for their support in organizing this seminar. So now I ask to take the seats.
So thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite the president, ISPAR chapter, Mr. Rajshekhar, to give introduction about the speaker and welcome the session.
Hello everyone. Myself Rajshekhar, Sport Student Chapter President, Annamalai University. Welcome everyone to today's session. I would be glad to introduce our speaker, Dr. Rajesh Palkrishnan, Professor of Public Health Sciences and Clinical Professor of Nursing at School of Medicine, University of Virginia, USA, who is here to present about the vaccine and public health. He has done his Bachelor of Science in Pharmaceutical Sciences at the University of Mumbai in 1995. He done his Master of Sciences in Pharmaceutical Policy in University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. He also done his PhD in Public Health Sciences in University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Dr. Palkrishnan is an epidemiologist whose research program is on medical care access, focusing on long-term treatment. He has also joined hands with the Medicaid program to understand the issues of access to essential pharmacotherapies in low-income population over 2 decades. He also served as a key investigator on large national studies such as United States Renal Data System. Dr. Balkishan has published over 350 research papers, books, and book chapters. He was also recently recognized in the list of top 2% of scientists in the world based on impact of published research. At present, Dr. Balkishan is a member of Cancer Population Health Program at University of Virginia Cancer Center. It's my pleasure to welcome you, sir.
Thank
Over
you.
to
Thank
Dr.
you so much. Can I share my screen?
Yes, sir. Now you can say.
All right, great. Thank you, everyone. It's really a pleasure seeing many familiar faces over here. I wish I fondly recall the times I visited the campus at Annamalai University and cannot wait for the opportunity to come again to meet with you all in person in Chidambaram. In the meantime, we have to make do with these webinars and things like that. But it's very heartening to see that so many of you have joined this webinar. We have a collaboration with another school over here, which is fantastic as well. So this is very nice. And I'm, Dhanapal just approached me a few days ago to basically talk on something, and I said, what better topic to talk about than vaccines and public health, because that is absolutely the need of the day right now. And as someone who has been vaccinated for over a month now, with both the Pfizer doses of the Pfizer vaccine without any side effects, I think this is really important. And here's a big message for all of you pharmacy students in both institutions, is to try to encourage everyone you can to try to get the vaccine, because that is our only defense against this epidemic right now. So I can't stress enough how important it is that not only you get the vaccine when it's available to you, um, but also encourage everyone, especially your parents, your grandparents, everybody that you can think of, to try to get the vaccine, um, so that we have some type of defense uh, with us. Okay, so in my presentation today, I'm just generally going to be talking about um, what some of the things you can say, as a pharmacist, and why it is sort of important for you to stress immunizations as we sort of move towards the field of pharmacy practice. I see one of the biggest roles for pharmacists is to sort of be advocates and actually be able to give vaccines to people. I think there's a great role for that as we develop areas of pharmacy practice in India. I think the pharmacist plays a very important role, and I think we should you should seize the opportunity and do what you can to try to see if you can provide these immunizations to people. So immunizations, save up to 3 million lives annually. They're able to protect people. There are vaccines which are available now to protect people from 26 infectious disease. And many more are in development. And now we have many technologies. I apologize. It's 1 a.m. over here in the US. So please bear with me if I'm a bit sleepy. I've had a very long week full of teaching. But anyways, it's good to see all of you. But through these technologies like the microRNA technology that we have with the COVID vaccine, we are going to have many more vaccines. And as some of the previous speakers pointed out, I think with all the changes that have taken place in the environment and with population shifts around the world, we are going to see the emergence of many microorganisms which we have not seen before. The COVID is definitely not the first, definitely not the last, but clearly surprised. It has surprised us by how much of an impact it has had. And of course, India and Brazil have been affected, but no other country has been affected by this virus as much as my country, the United States. And the reason why the United States has been affected so much in large part is also because we have a huge aging population. So we have a lot of people who live uh, longer, but they also live longer with a lot of compromised immunity. So clearly making themselves easy targets for these type of organisms. So um, vaccines can eradicate diseases, but one of the problems is uh, people don't, many governments sometimes don't cover vaccines for everyone. Vaccines are not able to reach everybody. So we have been able to eradicate conditions like smallpox, reduce the polio virus to almost nothing. but unfortunately, we still have outbreaks. We have outbreaks of measles, and now, of course, in the last year and some change over that, we have been sort of dealing with the COVID pandemic. Um, and what has happened is that even with childhood immunizations, what they found is that it has reached over 80%, and then it has stagnated. So there's still 15% of children who are not immunized. So basically, most of you know all this, but just to sort of give you a very quick background for some of you who don't have the background in this area, the way vaccines work, is the body is exposed to a weakened or dead pathogen. The body's immune cells make antibodies to attack the pathogen. And if the body is exposed to the pathogen again, the body will be prepared with antibodies. The COVID vaccine, which uses the mRNA technology, is a little bit new because it basically it allows the antibodies to be formed without the COVID pathogen in the vaccine. So that is truly innovative. That's how far science has come. Um, but basically, the point to make here is that vaccines offer community immunity. So what we also call is herd immunity. So when a sufficient proportion of the population is immune to the infectious disease, it makes the spread from person to person unlikely. Um, and vaccines are the best bet to reach the coverage thresholds, or the minimum percentage of individuals immune to the disease that is needed to prevent the outbreak. So right now, we have two or three variants, several variants of the COVID vaccine, which are available right now. I think including two in India, which are manufactured using this mRNA technology, which have shown to be very, very effective in most cases. So unfortunately, issues remain with the availability of the vaccine. Many of the facilities are not enabled to make the vaccine at the rate at which the demand for those vaccines is right now. So that is obviously going to create issues. I hear in India already, there is a severe vaccine shortage right now in many places. This is happening just as uh, uh, India is really struggling through another wave of the pandemic, and so again, really a difficult time for this to happen. But such things happen. So again, this figure kind of shows how vaccines protect the community. When no one is immunized, disease spreads through the population. When some of the people are immunized, you can see the disease spreads through some of the population. But when most of the population is immunized, the spread of the disease is really, really constrained. So that's how we can try to see how many people, try to maximize the amount of people who sort of get the vaccine. As I said, there are different types of vaccines. Some of them contain live attenuated organisms. Some of them contain the inactivated organisms. Some of them contain a killed antigenic component of the pathogen. Some of them contain a toxin which is made by the pathogen. So all these type of things, these different types of vaccines exist. Some vaccines provide lifelong immunity from a single dose. Others require uh, great provide greater protection after multiple doses. One of the issues with the COVID vaccine is and right now many of them are requiring 2 doses. It is said that the Johnson and Johnson version of it that has come now requires only 1 dose. But we don't know. I mean, there are still, Brazil right now is dealing with a variant of the COVID virus, which is really creating a lot of havoc in the country. So we need to see how much mutation and how much uh, uh, how many problems um, the COVID virus causes. So, if I may ask, please, if you could mute your phones or thing, it would be useful for me to talk because I'm hearing some noise over here in the background. Thank you. So, so as I said, vaccine components are all safe and effective. They provide immunity. Um, they are safe and long lasting, and all the materials that are used in production of them is safe. So the vaccine by itself cannot confer the disease on the individual. So any of these type of worries that people may have in terms of acquiring the disease by taking the vaccine, we really need to work as pharmacists to try to assuage those type of fears. The immunization schedules are also based on the best scientific evidence. Depending on the availability of the vaccine, most of the governments are prioritizing that older populations, people with compromised immune functions, are the first to get the vaccine, and then usually the people who are healthy and children, they sort of end up getting the vaccine the last possible. So how do people ensure that vaccines are safe and effective? Usually there are 3 phases of vaccine trials which are conducted. The first phase is 20 to 100 healthy volunteers. Then there are several hundred volunteers, and then there are hundreds and thousands of volunteers. Now, with the COVID vaccine, phase 3 is not done, was not done adequately because of the urgency in bringing the vaccine to the market. But there have been now studies since the vaccines have been there on the market now for close to 4 months. There are close to 6 months now, actually. There are studies that are coming out now that show that for most part, the COVID vaccine is safe, and it is effective. There are some documented side effects. There are some adverse events that have been recorded. And I just read a report yesterday that India is now reviewing about 800 adverse events that have resulted from the COVID vaccine that is sort of being administered over there. So obviously the vaccine safety is something that needs to be monitored constantly. You need to monitor patients for side effects. You need to identify and understand what those side effects are, and then communicate and manage those risks appropriately. And so basically, what are the types of side effects and things that could happen? One is basically called contraindications. There are sometimes there are some contraindications and precautions for the vaccines. So you want to sort of try to avoid giving vaccine to sort of individuals who may have some rare conditions that increase the risk for a serious adverse reaction. So with vaccines, many people develop severe allergic reactions. Just after the intake of the vaccine. So that happens. So the condition in which the recipient might increase the risk of a serious adverse reaction um, might cause. So this is something. Sometimes vaccines are, as a precaution, not given to certain individuals because um, uh, sometimes the risks to certain individuals because of some vaccines may outweigh the benefits that are provided to them. So you can see that if vaccines are not administered uniformly, even small pockets can of people who are not vaccinated can trigger deadly outbreaks. So this is true in the case of measles, where there are still small pockets of individuals who are not covered by the vaccine, and because of that, we do see measles outbreaks almost every year in many countries. So this is why it's really important that the vaccine be uniformly given to everyone who is eligible to receive the vaccine. Um, so then there are all these falsehoods that are perpetrated against the vaccines, which are all false. That vaccines cause autism. Um, so there is no link at all between vaccines and autism. So a lot of people who are anti-vaccines use this type of false. Um, they spread false news that vaccines can cause autism in children, and that is being disproven. Um, it is better to space out childhood vaccines using an alternative schedule. That is not correct. You need to provide all the childhood vaccines to children just at the time it becomes due, and there is no need to space them out. Similarly, with the COVID vaccine, it is really important that you sort of get the second shot of the vaccine, preferably within 6 to 8 weeks of getting the first shot. I got mine. Of course, here I got mine within 3 weeks, but now they are saying 6 weeks is about the time between the first and second shot to sort of get the vaccine. The other false news or false sort of assumption that people sort of make is that vaccines can potentially cause the diseases. So here's a role for you as pharmacists and healthcare professionals, is to tell people that vaccines undergo extensive monitoring and testing before approval. Especially with the COVID vaccine, there is no way that the COVID vaccine can cause the disease because it does not contain the COVID organisms. But sometimes people are afraid when there are live attenuated vaccines. But again, there are sometimes people do have mild symptoms, especially when the body is producing the antibodies, but most of them disappear within 24 to 48 hours. So I think it's really important to let people know that they cannot get the disease from the vaccine. Um, and then there are all these other false things that people say that people are at greater risk of harm from a vaccine than from a disease itself, and that is completely false. The benefits of immunization far outweighs the risk in almost any type of disease condition, and this is true of COVID. This is true of all the childhood diseases for which children get immunized against. Immunization prevents individual illness and prevents large-scale outbreaks. So one of the things which is really important is for uh, for for you to sort of, as healthcare professionals, to bolster the confidence in people taking the vaccine. You need to respond to their concerns with positive messages about vaccines, communicate risks in delaying immunization, sharing experiences about immunizations, providing additional resource, and having follow-up conversations. So really important to be able to do that. So as you can see, the COVID vaccines are being held to the same safety standards as all the other vaccines. Um, and right now, phase 3 trials have been conducted, but of course, some of them were not powered to the extent at which some of the other larger vaccine trials have been funded, primarily because of timing issues. We had to bring the vaccine quickly into the market. Um, the vaccines have been approved for use by the Food and Drug Administration here in the United States, and by the regulatory agencies in India and other countries. So definitely, they are safe for use. So again, there are here we primarily have two vaccines. The third vaccine has just been introduced, the Johnson and Johnson vaccine. The effectiveness data that's sort of coming out is pretty good so far, 94-95%. The Johnson and Johnson, which is a one-dose schedule vaccine, has a lower overall effectiveness of about 75%. The duration of protection is not completely known, but so far everybody who's received the vaccine has been protected against the COVID virus, at least for a period of 3 to 6 months. There are websites. The FDA in the United States has a website. I'm sure the Indian regulatory agencies, the government of India, the Ministry of Health also has a website that people can go and get all the latest information. So as you can see, usually some of the phase 3 trials includes hundreds of thousands of patients, but for these two trials, for the Pfizer and Moderna, Pfizer 45,000 were enrolled and Moderna 30,000 were enrolled for the trials in the US. And basically, both all these vaccines that are coming out use the mRNA technology. So each of the vaccines carry genetic material that teaches the cell how to make a piece of the spike protein, which is found on the surface of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So the genetic material from the vaccine is destroyed by the cells once the copies of the spikes are made, and it's no longer needed. So the cells display this piece of spike protein on the surface, and sort of an immune reaction is triggered inside our bodies. This produces the antibodies that protect us from being infected if SARS-CoV-2 virus enters our bodies, because the body has already produced antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So they don't affect our DNA. The mRNA does not enter the cell nucleus. So that is one of the huge advantages of this technology. So mRNA COVID vaccines cannot give someone the COVID-19 virus. So that is really, really important to know. The mRNA vaccines have never been introduced in such a large scale as they have been introduced right now with the COVID virus, but they have been studied for influenza, Zika, rabies, and CMV with success. So, but this is the first time it's sort of been being used so much. So as you can see, some of the side effects of the mRNA vaccine have been noted, especially after the second dose. So we are seeing a lot of this with some of the um, you know uh, Moderna especially is showing a lot of this. Most of these are fevers, headaches, and muscle aches, which seem to go away after 24 to 48 hours in most patients. So there haven't been any overtly serious side effects that have been noted. I know that India is currently reviewing about 700 adverse events. Um, there's a long way to go in India, because right now I presume only less than 5% of the population has been vaccinated. There's no significant safety concerns were identified in the clinical trials. Small number of severe allergic reactions have been reported. So as with any type of vaccines, you know, healthcare providers should be familiar with reactions such as anaphylaxis that could happen at the site of it at the time of administration, and we should have procedures in place to sort of deal with these type of things. So one of the things we sort of need to sort of make sure is that all this can get very overwhelming, and many of the healthcare workers who are in charge of giving out these vaccines and things like that in many of the government hospitals and stuff like that can become overwhelmed very easily, can create a lot of issues. So we really need to have a little bit better planning for personnel to be there all the time to administer the vaccine to all the people who have come to sort of receive it. Okay, so there's all these committees that have been set up to review all the which is constantly reviewing the safety data on the vaccine as it is being made available. I know that a panel is begun to review some of the safety data, or will soon be reviewing some of the safety data um, uh, on some of the side effects of the vaccines administered in India as well. So there have also been new systems which have been developed to monitor COVID vaccine safety, um, things that use text messaging and follow-up telephone calls to for anyone who sort of reports adverse events. So basically, how was the vaccine development timeline accelerated, especially in the case of COVID-19? How was the vaccine that introduced so quickly is a question that a lot of people ask. And basically, many of the researchers used existing clinical trial networks. So a lot of the COVID vaccines were tested on individuals already who were a part of other clinical trials that were ongoing. And many clinical trials are still underway, but there was enough data that was sort of gathered that allowed the entry of this into the market. Also, mRNA vaccines are faster to produce than traditional vaccines, so that is one of the reasons why it has been introduced so quickly compared to some of the other things. So we still have people who we still have a lot of people who don't want to take the vaccine. People are hesitant to take the vaccine. uh, People are asking questions like, are there side effects? Does it work? Is it safe? Are there costs associated with it? These are all things. If we sort of need to be very clear when we talk to patients, that there's no cost to the individual. It's covered by the government. It'll help them get back to school. They can get it easily, and it is safe. So in the US, we have a lot more reluctance to the vaccine than I think there would be in India. In India, I think the bigger issue would be access and availability of the vaccine. I think it is really, really important to ensure that everybody who can get access to the vaccine gets it. Because there is still a lot of people who don't know about the technology, who are scared of vaccines, who are scared of injections, who don't want to get it. So I think here is a great role for clinical pharmacists, and training clinical pharmacists in the country to be able to take the leadership in this, work maybe with doctors to provide these vaccines, work with government health centers to provide these vaccines, and therefore develop greater trust amongst patients in their profession. So I think sometimes a lot of people they start with refusal, then they move towards passive acceptance, and then they finally take it. And I think there's a huge role in of potential healthcare professionals in working to try to encourage people and try to ensure that as many people who can get the vaccine get vaccinated. So I hope all of you stay safe and healthy and take good care of yourself. Uh, I'm hoping that many of you will get vaccinated, and I'm hoping that we gain some control over this epidemic very soon, so that we can continue life as normal, that we were the way we used to live a year and a half ago. We can continue the same type of life. So that's why I changed my topic, because I thought I would sort of like kind of present something that is a little bit more relevant. Also, I really feel that we really need to do more as pharmacists and to build the role of clinical pharmacy in India. And I'm sure all my colleagues over here, like Dr. Dhanapal and Dr. Mahanta and Dr. Madhu, will agree with me on this issue. I think here is a great opportunity in terms of the COVID vaccine to try to get involved and try to see if more people can get access and can get vaccinated because of the role of the pharmacist, or the training clinical pharmacist. So with that, I'm going to end my talk. Unfortunately, I'm not a big expert on the composition of the vaccine and things like that. So you can send me questions. My contact is available with everyone. It's rb9ap@virginia.edu. I'm a clinical adjunct professor at Annamalai University. I'm available to any of you who need to get in touch with me. You can contact me on social media or other mechanisms, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. Good luck to all of you. And Dr. Mahanta, I want to thank you. It's nice to see you after a long time. And thank you for allowing me to go first, because it's almost 2 o'clock over here. I need to go to bed over here. So thank you so much, everyone. All right.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir,
Thank you, Rajesh.
for such an
Thank you so
amazing
much.
session. Hello everyone, myself Aishwarya Vijay Kumar. Now I would like to call one of the backbone and pride of our pharmacy department, our beloved former professor and head, Dr. Guru Prasad Mahanta, at present Vice Chairperson, Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Community Pharmacy Division, former World Health Organization National Technical Officer in Essential Medicines. With his teaching and research experience, he has enlightened the knowledge and life of several students and PhD scholars. He has done various research works and has published his work in several national and international journals. Still, he is doing various things for betterment of students. I humbly request the man of positivity to deliver his session on COVID-19 pharmacoeconomic perspective. It's really a great pleasure for me to welcome you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Sir, sir, please unmute and talk, sir.
Now only you are allowing. Okay.
Welcome, sir.
Let me share the screen first. I'll come
Yes,
back.
take your time, sir.
The screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. Yeah, now it's okay, sir.
Now it's visible, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Fine,
Friends,
sir.
this is right now it's morning for us, though it is Professor Rajesh, it was the midnight. I'm feeling very happy to be part of today's event, and I congratulate my colleagues, Professor Dhanapal, the collaborating partner, Srikrupa Institute, Professor Mallaredi, and many others who have spoke today. I appreciate their understanding and also encouraging our students to learn something which should help us to improve managing COVID-19 in a better way, probably more economic, cost-effective way. Friends, this was our brainchild, the ISPOR student chapter. 3 years back, we started this, and I feel proud that our students, ISPOR student chapters, leaders are continuing their activities in spite of, rather in the midst of COVID-19. So I congratulate all my student friends. So coming to today's our presentation, friends, every one of us must be able to define what is health. Though we all want to be healthy, when we ask everyone to ask how many of you feel healthy, we have really very difficult question for the students to find, to tell them whether they are healthy. Why this problem? Because it is very difficult to define whether an individual is healthy or not. And World Health Organization has come up with a comprehensive definition of health. And it is not just the absence of the disease, but it is a holistic concept. Friends, every one of us wants to be healthy, and we have just celebrated the World Health Day on 7th April. And one of the aim of the Health Day is to bring together to the people, and so that we can promote health, and we can promote health and also achieve what? Achieve a healthy and a better society. Friends, COVID has taught us many things. It begins from the economy to the universal brotherhood. All these days we have been talking that we should be healthy, but now we are talking, yes, we should be healthy. No, we should be healthy. No, that is not enough. What we want, our neighbors should also be healthy. Unless the neighbors are healthy, we don't feel secure. That is what COVID-19 has shown us. So this is a very important learning from all of us, friends. For everything, we need resources. We need resources for managing our works. We need resources for promoting any activity. So finance is the most important for all of us. Similarly, the finance for health is also equally important. This our Professor Mallaredi has very clearly said, we cannot move forward without the finance. And that is, I congratulate our Professor Dhanapal to identify the topic for this today's webinar. Friends, health is the most important human resources. Without this health, our quality of life diminished, irrespective of our position, irrespective of the situation where we are. So health is the most important, and throughout the globe, people have accepted health as a fundamental right. In India, the constitution gives certain fundamental rights to its citizens, and health is yet to be included, but indirect interpretation shows health is also a fundamental right, and it is very likely this 75th year of independence, government is likely to amend the constitution and include health as a fundamental right. In this regard, 15th Finance Commission has recommended government to do that. And for everything we require finance. So that is why when we say we'll make it as a fundamental right, we need a lot of resources. And the Finance Commission, 15th Finance Commission, has recommended government for this. And they are planning to improve the resources for promoting health. Friends, have you ever thought, yes, we want to be healthy, who pays for our health? Everybody thinks it is government pays. Government pays means who? Where from government gets? It is our resources from where it comes to the government for governance, and government spends. Second is another ways we spend for healthcare. The insurance companies, we take health insurance, we take medical insurance. That is, so insurance companies, we are still a long way to go about the medical insurance or health insurance as far as India is concerned. While the developed countries, most of them are covered under medical insurance. So government pays, sometimes the insurance companies pays. Otherwise, it is you and yourself who pays for it. That is your out-of-pocket expenditure you spend for your healthcare. So is it enough? Are there any challenges? Whether there are other possibilities that we must have enough resources for the health spending. Friends, there has been changed in our attitude. The COVID has changed our attitudes towards the health insurance. What we see now, 2021, this is now almost slightly little more than 1 year of COVID impact in our life. And during this period, what we have seen, the high value insurance, high value medical insurance or health insurance has increased by 40%. High value means more than 25 lakhs coverage, 40% increase. And 1 crore rupees health coverage is grown by 35%. And why this so much? People have suddenly in last 1 year, they have taken so much insurance policy because we find difficult to pay for our health expenditure. And even if you look at who are the paying for this insurance policy,
Sir, please unmute, sir. Again muted. Your
Okay.
yes, sir. Now okay, sir. Now okay, sir.
So if we look at how we are promoting now for the high value insurance, the insurance companies are providing a scheme called EMI, so they can pay the insurance policy in installments, equally monthly installment, equated monthly. So it is a promoting, another promotion, how the people will go for high value the insurance. Look at the claim. In last year, during this period, it was 4% of the total claim goes for the COVID-19. May it was 8%. July increased to 23, and
Sir,
August it has in. Yes,
excuse
please.
me, sir.
Sites.
Please,
Please.
please share your screen, sir.
Screen is not shared
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, sir.
because of this. Okay. Is it now visible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
See here, from the last year, April 2020 to August 2020, we see the increase of the insurance claim, insurance only for COVID-19. In April 2020, it was 4%, and August 2020, it was 34% of the insurance. So that means now people are going for insurance. People have understood it is difficult to manage the expenditure for the treatment of COVID-19. Now see, we have one more insurance, the government insurance scheme, Ayushman Bharat. Ayushman Bharat shows May 2020, 2,300 patients availed the free COVID treatment, and 10,000 private hospitals are included in the panel for treatment of free COVID-19. So this is how people got treatment from the COVID-19 through insurance scheme. Look at how we have been spending on for our health. Total health expenditure, if we look at, it is from the government, it is from the private, and it is from the donor. And by large, it is 2015-16 figure, NSO figure, 3.84% of GDP. And out of this, out of this household expenditure, it is 2.3% of GDP, and medicines form the bulk of it. So that is why we are interested on pharmacoeconomics. The medicine is 72% of out-of-pocket expenditure in the rural areas and 8% in the urban areas. And now, if we look at this, who are spending more? The poor are spending more. See our states like Orissa, Bihar, they are spending more out-of-pocket health expenditure compared to the developed states, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu. So that means this very unfortunate out-of-pocket expenditure, the poor spends more than the reaches. See now, after the corona, we have a normal and we have started the new normal. So what we have understood, not only we should be the safe, our neighbors should also be safe. If neighbors are safe, then only we will be safe. So we have to take vaccine. We have to see that our neighbors also protect us. And that is perhaps the main weapon we have at this moment to fight against the pandemic. See here, how is our attitude? Last year in 2020, April 2020, COVID was less, fear was more. In 2021, now COVID is more, but we have fear is less. So we fail to adopt the COVID-19 appropriate behavior. So we are all at risk. So regarding the finance, the spending, here is a case. A Mumbai hospital charged 21 lakh and refused to hand over the body after the death. This was the news on 3rd September 2020. 21 lakhs Indian rupees. How the patient was charged? 3,500 rupees is charged for a kit of rupees 300. So the hospital is charging 3,500 rupees for a kit of 300 rupees. A bill of medicine came to 10.62 lakhs. Medicine is costing. Medicine alone, you can see out of 21 lakhs, half of it goes for medicine for which we charge. In Tamil Nadu, who stayed for 10 days in a semi-private room of a hospital at Chennai. A semi-private room of a hospital in Chennai spent 1,081 towards the medicine, 2,550 for the blood test and X-ray. The patient had to pay 2,500 rupees for other packages. And the cost of PPE was also very high. So the charges in Tamil Nadu also was proved higher, but many state governments have kept the price, maximum price, beyond which they should not charge. Look at this. Here is some figure, and this is what the Tamil Nadu government has kept the price, so that beyond this they should not charge. Yes, it is not only the Tamil Nadu government. There are many other state governments have prefixed asking the hospitals not to charge beyond. But friends, fixing alone does not help the patient. What is very important is for the government should also to monitor whether the private hospitals are adhering to the government norms. And most of the time we find the government is not giving order, but the private hospitals are not adhering to it because of their own compulsion. See how much the charge. Maximum fee per day. Mild infection 23,000. It is the recommendation of Indian Medical Council. ICU charges 43,000 and doctor and health workers fee is 9,600. So what I mean to say is so much expenditure is involved, and it is not possible without insurance to bear the expenditure. Look at this, how different state governments have given notification for the cost of 10 days treatment. I'll tell here in Kerala, the ICU without a ventilator, 65,000. Andhra, it was 54,800. But same time, look at Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, it is 75,000 to 82,000. Karnataka, it is 1 lakh to 1.5 lakhs. So there is wide variation. And in Delhi, it is 1.3 lakh to 1.2. This is ICU without ventilator for 10 days. And wide variation. What is important here is the wide variation of charges by different government who has fixed the prices. So now, in the second wave of COVID-19, the government has revised, and many people are sometimes complaining, today one treatment, tomorrow another, today one vaccine problem. That, friends, nobody knows the details or the behavior of this new invisible enemy. Like us, the scientists are also studying, trying to know, and this invisible enemy is so quickly changing its behavior, and sometimes its behavior changes is at a faster rate than our science that is studying about this COVID-19 or the SARS virus that is causing is very, very difficult. And that is why most important for us is to prevent the coronavirus infection. Look at the private hospital. This is another example, 18,000 rupees per day. Insurance companies only usually bears a maximum of 18,000 per day. ICU critical treatment, it goes between 50,000 to 1 lakh a day. 50,000 to 1 lakh. See, even if people have the insurance, they are not able to pay everything from the insurance. British Medical Journal in September 2020, it says India's private sector props up its healthcare, but pandemic has exposed exorbitant and inconsistent billing. Means no fixed rules how much to be charged. The Supreme Court recently, in December 2020, said even if a patient survives from the COVID-19, many times the patient financially and economically is finished, survived, but financially. Therefore, either more provisions should be made by the state government and local administration, or the government should keep on the fee charged by the private hospitals. See, this is the Supreme Court. When? Just December 2020, before this surging of our second wave of corona. The household expenditure report says NSO, National Statistical Office, monthly spending of per person in the country. Monthly spending per person in the country in more than 80% of the families is between 5,000 to 25,000 for a family of 5. 5,000 to 20,000. 5,000. But what happened to the cost? We have only in our budget, only this much money. And even non-accredited hospitals, the expenditure involved is about 3 times of the non-accredited hospital. So it's very, very difficult for an average person to manage the COVID-19. Delhi is our capital and the highest per capita expenditure among all the cities in this country. What we see here, the lowest priced isolation bed cost 80,000 rupees. The lowest priced isolation bed cost rupees 80,000 per day, which is more than the times of the monthly spending. And for ICU, it reaches up to 1.5 lakh. And with a ventilator in the ICU, it is 1.5 to 1.8. This is in Delhi. This is what is happening in the private sector. So we'll discuss, we saw the current scenario. Now we'll discuss a little bit about direct economics. One will look at for the treatment, the other will look at for the protection, that is the use of vaccination. One of the most important medicine used at this moment, the antiviral medicine, remdesivir. And there are 7 pharmaceutical companies manufacturing it, Mylan, Hetero, Jubilant, and so on. 7. In the USA, its price, because the company which has invented this remdesivir is 2,340 US dollar per treatment, and with private insurance, it is 3,120. So this is the price of US. What happened? Look at our country, 2020. Cipla started selling at 4,000 rupees per vial. Mylan started selling at 4,800 per vial. And Hetero selling at 5,400 per vial. Fortunately, the price of the remdesivir has come down. And what happened at this moment, if you see, the Zydus Cadila is selling at a lowest price. Zydus was last year, it was selling 2,800 per 100 milligram vial. Now it is selling at 899 rupees. You can see it becomes about 1/3 of. So how much we require? In general, for this medicine, we require 200 milligram intravenously on first day, followed by 100 milligram intravenously for 5 days. And sometimes, this is the general treatment, and sometimes it requires treatment for 10 days. But what is the market? The medicine is not available in the market. There are black marketing. And the black marketing has created two scenarios for us. When it is available in black, there is no assurance of its quality. It may be a fake medicine. And the second issue that we face is it is priced sometimes 10 times of the real price of the medicine. And few days back, several people have been arrested in different part of the country selling this remdesivir in black. So look at, this is the March 2021 report, it's just release report. The MRP 4,000 to 5,400 per dose. The hospital is charging, while they are buying at a much lower cost. This is their charging, and the cost of 24,000 to 32,000 rupees for the entire course of 6 doses. This is what the hospitals or the health policy is charging, even if they are buying it at an average dose of about 1,000 per dose. Friends, medicines is a big business. No other retail business is having such profit, and nobody questions about the high price because we need medicine when we are at crisis. Then comes, look at the vaccination. We have in our country 2 vaccines. One is Covishield, the other one is Covaxin. Covaxin is indigenous completely. The Bharat Biotech and ICMR jointly invented this medicine. The Covishield, it is the research work of AstraZeneca and the Oxford University of UK, but it's manufactured at our Serum Institute of India. So if we look at the price is about 210 rupees when they are buying, and the government is buying at 200 rupees, and GST is 20, and sometimes the negotiation was also there for Covishield per dose at about 157 rupees. But what is the controversy here? The government is buying, government procurement price. You see, the vaccines are not available to buy. Only the government can procure it from the supplier, from the manufacturers. No private party. And the government procurement price is 200 rupees per dose for Covishield. But this government price is higher than at what the company is selling. European Union is buying at 1.78 euro, and which is lower than at which the government of India procures. Pfizer vaccine not available in India, but in USA it is 19.50 US dollar single dose, and has a tier pricing, different pricing system depending upon which country is buying. When selling in UK, India agreed to buy 100 million doses at there is Covishield. at 200 rupees per dose, while we are selling to UK at a slightly higher price, 4 to 5 price tag in terms of US dollar. But now what happened is the problem has come is vaccines, we are in a difficult situation. The Serum Institute of India is in a difficult situation because our domestic requirement is higher. And since domestic requirement is higher, government has restricted some restriction on export to other countries. So what we need? Vaccination in the private sector. Private hospital also one can go for Covishield. And for this, government is charging, or sorry, hospital or an individual has to buy this at 250 rupees for the dose of the injection and 100 rupees for the service tax. And it requires 2 doses. So now 2 doses are required. So now the economists are talking, the health economists, even the pharmaceutical companies who are making, they are talking, is it sustainable? The private sector vaccination at 250 rupees, is it sustainable? The buying the cost of the medicine, the people involved in offering a safe injection, will it be sustainable? WHO is giving or purchase rather at $3 per dose. So our cost is very, very low, and sometimes that is what the notion is, whether the operation at this cost is sustainable. Now what happened? Yes, everybody needs adults. Sorry, every adult needs, and we don't have enough to give vaccine for every citizens of this country. Yes, the children are excluded because it is not yet tested on children. It is not that the children do not require. Children do also require, but the vaccines are not yet tested on children. Enough is not available. So that is what we have prioritization. Prioritization means initially it was the frontline health workers. Friends, you'll be very happy to know that pharmacists are included in these frontline health workers, and they are given the priority vaccination. And pharmacists are also involved, officially included them as immunization provider. Otherwise, the pharmacists are not empowered to give injection. And officially, first time, the government of India included pharmacists as immunization provider, means they have permitted to give the COVID-19 injection. So export is restricted. Now what happened is what we see at this moment, 65 to 7 million doses a month. That is our manufacturing capacity of Serum Institute of India. And now it plans to increase to about 100 million doses a month by May end. By May end, we must have the 100 million per dose. Sorry, 100 million doses a month. Unless we have this, it would be difficult for us to make available the vaccines even for Indian citizens live about exporting to others. Friends, coming to end, all of us, we want a safer world. We must get rid of as quickly as possible from the coronavirus, from the COVID-19, and it is I and you, if we join together, we can break the chain of virus transmission. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to answer some of the pharmacoeconomics aspect or health aspects of the COVID-19 treatment and preventive measures.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an impeccable session.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a very wonderful and highly informative talk, which is currently required for us. Thank you so much. At this juncture, again, I would appreciate and thank Professor Mallareddy sir, Dr. Manjunath, and our Rashid sir for giving this opportunity with Annamalai University. Now, I request Dr. Madhusudan to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dhanapal sir, for giving me a wonderful opportunity. And good afternoon to all distinguished guests, other invitees, my dear colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen, and also to the invited speakers. First, we submit our gratitude to respected Chief Patron, Professor V. Murugesan sir, Patron Dr. R. Nanadevan sir, Dr. A. Murugapan sir, Dean, Faculty of Engineering Technology, Annamalai University, and to Dr. V. P. Pandey sir, HOD, Department of Pharmacy, for providing necessary infrastructure facility and at administrative level for smooth running of this program. We are thankful to Patron Professor Vanga Malagadi sir, and also to C.M. Srinivas, Vice Chairman, Srikrupa Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and Sri K. Sasidagadi, Secretary, Srikrupa Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, for providing excellent facilities and support for smooth execution of the program. We had a wonderful collaboration with the Srikrupa Institute of Pharmacy, and we are thankful for this effort. As rightly pointed out Dr. Rapal sir, we are having institute collaboration. And we want to place our gratitude to former HOD and also Speaker Dr. Monda sir and to other former HODs, Dr. Manna sir, Anand sir, and other HODs, Dr. Manna sir, who has been actively involved and helped in launching and initiating this ISPO student chapter at Annamalai University. We have started the chapter 3 years ago, and we are thankful for them. And we are highly thankful to our present form coordinator as well as professor and the faculty advisor and convener of this program, Dr. Dhanapal sir, for taking this wonderful effort and for initiating, motivating, and for successfully organizing this webinar. We also want to add that we have conducted a series of programs to create awareness about vaccination just before this webinar, and it came out very well. We are thankful to our present HOD, Dr. V. P. Pandey sir, for his gracious support for this webinar and for giving special address. We are thankful to Dr. Sheikh Harun Aziz, Professor Head, Srikrupa Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, for organizing this webinar along with Annamalai University and for doing an excellent contribution. We are also thankful to other dignitaries. Our special gratitude to Dr. Rajesh Balakrishna sir for being present here and for delivering the lecture in spite of his difficulty. Now it is around 1:30 a.m. probably in Virginia, and still he is awake and presented this excellent presentation. He is expert invited dignitary for several WHO and health conferences and associations across the globe, and he is visiting faculty for several prestigious universities, including Annamalai University. And we are thankful for giving an excellent presentation on vaccines and public health. We are thankful to expert speaker, Dr. G.P. Mohan sir, Vice Chairman, IPA, Indian Pharmaceutical Association, PPD, as well as former head and Department of Pharmacy and former WHO Technical Officer. for sharing wonderful information about pharmacoeconomics aspect. And we are thankful to you for sharing your rich experiences and also throwing information about the present health crisis as well as healthcare retirement, and financing activities. We are thankful to other staff members, Dr. Prabhakar sir, Associate Professor for being a coordinator, and to Dr. S.Y. Manjunath sir, Principal Srikrupa Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. And also, we are thankful to other staff for Department of Pharmacy faculty as well as supporting staff for helping us in organizing this program. All these events are possible only with meticulous performance, planning, and execution of executive committee member of student chapter of ISPO, Annamalai University. And especially, we are thankful to Mr. Rajsekhar sir, President, Mr. P. Mohan Raj, Secretary, Mr. Aishwarya, Treasurer, and Mr. Joseph Pins, President-elect, for arranging this wonderful webinar. And by including Rajesh Balakrishna sir and other dignitaries across the globe, we made it an international webinar. And they deserve special appreciation for their tedious efforts and execution for several days. Our thanks to all student volunteers for their support, and we are thankful to Almighty for His blessings to conduct this program. And last but not least, we want to thank everyone who have directly or indirectly helped in successful conduct of the program. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Dr. Madhu. Now, Rajshekhar want to say something. I think Manta sir, one or two students want to interact with you. If you permit, we will.
Sure.
Okay. Rajshekhar, please.
Hello, sir.
Please, go ahead.
Sir, what is the solution for this price hike, sir? Is there any solution to reduce the price in private hospitals?
Yes, at this moment, we have no mechanism. We have no mechanism, and yes, government is definitely looking at that. And to my understanding, that everyone should go now the medical insurance. That is the only solution to protect ourselves from being the victim of unnecessary exorbitant expenditure. That is the only solution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your valuable time, sir.
Yes, somebody else is also putting a
Sir,
question. Sure.
we have some questions regarding the session in chat box, sir. Shall we discuss, sir?
Sure.
Okay, sir. Someone asked, can we reduce this pandemic disease with the blood plasma technology? Is this possible, sir?
Yes. See, still we have the plasma therapy, okay, conventional plasma therapy in our treatment protocol, but it is very difficult. We are not yet completely sure which one works and which does not work, because we do not have enough exposure to the methodology, the tools we have, and how far they are effective. It is like, scientists are also working.
Okay, sir.
So it is not very clear, because the virus was not known to us. The virus is known only just slightly 1.5 years to us. And beside that, the virus is also spreading so its color so fast. So it's very difficult at this moment. So whether we are trying this or that, this is all, everything is in experimental situation.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Then one more question, sir.
Please.
Now we have find so many strains of virus, sir. But
Yes.
these vaccine will enough for all strains of virus, sir?
No.
Yes,
That
sir.
is where we are more afraid of. Why we are telling still, starting from our Prime Minister to all the scientists, they have been telling us that, okay, you have vaccinated,
Yes,
but
yes, sir.
still continue using face mask, continue maintaining a physical distance from others. Why? Because the new variety of the coronavirus or new mutants, we are not sure whether they can be protected, whether
Okay.
we can be protected against these viruses. It is not known because every day a new strain is appearing.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And this is the question asked by a lot of people, sir.
Okay.
Which vaccine is better based on a pharmacoeconomic evaluation, sir? Like cost benefit or cost
See, yes,
effective?
yes. Now, see, which is better and which is more expensive. We have only at our disposal, we have only two ways.
Yes, sir.
We have only two
Two
ways.
vaccines.
So we have no wide choice. Even this Pfizer vaccine or the Johnson Johnson vaccine, they are to be tested in our country. Then only the government of India permit. So we have only two, and none of these two vaccines are really better in terms of pharmacoeconomics because you have no option to buy it. It is only the government procures. Now the company cannot sell to anybody else, only to the government. So pharmacoeconomics at this point about vaccine is little importance to us because we cannot buy.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your valuable time with us and making our time also valuable.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Dhanapal.
Yes, thank you.
This
Thank you.
great
Thanks for
time
this.
I had, and I enjoyed this morning with you all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it is our institution, so it is all
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
okay. Bye.
Okay, boss. Rajshekar,
Thank
we
you, sir.
can
Thank you,
conclude the
sir.
session, no? Sir want to speak something. Sir, please, sir.
Okay,
Please.
sir. Already. Sound.
Sound.
I told initially the virus is always marching quite ahead of us, and it is modifying itself, and more than 100 modifications it made it so far. So it is very difficult to tackle that sort of organism, and therefore it is only trial and error. That's what we are doing now. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Audible.
Another thing, I want to thank the organizers. Actually, Annamalai campus is not new to me. I used to visit as a AICT during AICT inspections.
Yes,
I
sir.
think most might have seen me earlier.
Sir, we met earlier, sir.
When Manavati was there, I visited there. Twice I came for AICT inspection, and once I came for on some other purpose. Right, that is not new, and it's very kind of you people for taking this Srikrupa into your fold and organizing this seminar. But actually, speaking, as I've told you, it is a broad topic that you have chosen. It is a finances aspect, economical aspect with regard to the treatment of the COVID disease or in general all the diseases, and that is the economy of the India will be suffering because of this disease, this pandemics, because the work loss, that work hours will be suffered, and therefore the output will be reduced and the economy will be affected. That is one aspect. And we need finances and economy to strengthen ourselves, to tackle all these issues so that we become strengthened, and then we can uh, recover such sort of whatever finances we put in. More than that we can recover if we are well, but to do that first we have to equip ourselves that we need more finances. So there are different aspects. Of course, Mahanta spoke on one aspect, that what did it cost? COVID, how much it is costing for a common man and others. And, everyone is trying to make money, not to help each other. That is, always the struggle for existence. And to make money, to struggle for to make money. Anyway, thank you very much for organizing it, at least to speak and bring some of the ideas to the forum, and we continue to do so in future, better and better topics, current topics. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Once again, I thank all the participants and the ISPO Student Chapter Organizing Committee. Thank you so much. I think Rajshekar, we can end up the session, no?
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Okay, ma.
For student attention, please. We have posted a link regarding the certificate. Kindly fill and submit that without fail. Link is posted in chat box. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. I think now we can end the session.
Okay, you can end up the session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Button over, correct.